My story begins when we moved through the Louisiana Bayou in a hushed, desperate line. The thick, cold mud of the causeway squelched and sucked at our bare feet with every agonizing step. I flinched as chunks of ice-cold sludge scraped against my knees, the pain a grim reminder of our purpose. The weight of the steel container pressed down, a burden on my shoulders and my soul. My ankles clicked and locked with the cold, but we pushed on. I'd walked this treacherous path to our isolated compound my whole life, but never like this, never fleeing. Behind me was Jake, his heavy breathing a steady rhythm in the dark. He was the muscle of our small group, his powerful frame straining under the load. In front of me, young Mike was trembling, his slim body barely holding up his corner. He was new to this life, and fear radiated off him in waves. Our breaths rose together in the frigid air, forming pale columns above the container we carried. Inside was the reason for all of this, the one thing we had to protect. I tried to swallow the lump in my throat, the bitter knowledge that we could never go back. Our home, the only sanctuary I'd ever known, was lost to us forever. My eyes scanned the oppressive darkness, searching the gray and black landscape for any sign of the mainland. The rising water, now sharp against my thighs, sent a spike of panic through me. The container wasn't just heavy with its own physical mass. It was burdened by our fear, our reverence, and the terror of failing our sacred duty. David, our silent leader at the very back, kept us steady. His calm presence was the only thing holding our trembling formation together. The tide waits for no one, not even for men on a holy mission. I'd seen it claim others who didn't respect its power, their bodies slowly sinking into the murk. The memory made my palms sweat against the cold steel. I was trying to judge the time we had left by the moon's position when I saw it. Just a flicker of movement at the edge of my vision. A blur of impossible size and speed against the black silhouette of the cypress trees. At first, I thought it was a deer, maybe a huge buck that had lost its way. But as it drew closer, the shape grew, deepening the chill in the air. I wanted to warn the others, to whisper a name or a sound. But before I could form the words, the creature stepped into the water. It moved with an unnatural grace, its long legs striding through the thick mud as if it were air. My eyes widened, desperately trying to trace its form in the gloom. Then I saw them. 2 points of light in its dark head, glowing with a faint, predatory red. Those eyes made me want to scream for a mother I could barely remember. The creature's form became clearer as it approached. A narrow face, sharp triangular ears. It was like no dog I had ever seen or heard of. It was taller than a man, with fur so black it seemed to drink the moonlight. It passed the first man in our line, Mike. His eyes were wide with terror, his knuckles white on the container. As the creature stalked past him, I saw that the crimson in its eyes wasn't its own light. It was a reflection. In that glistening surface, I saw our compound. I saw the monastery burning, the obscene red and orange blaze lighting up the night sky. Panic seized me. I whipped my head around to look back at the island, but saw only the familiar darkness, the endless gray and black of the distant shore. The vision was only in its eyes. As the creature drew parallel to me, I looked up into the vast cavern of its ear. A wave of sound crashed over me, not in the air, but in my mind. I heard screaming, the sounds of destruction. I heard my brothers, the men I grew up with, gurgling on their own blood. I heard the high-pitched shriek of steel slicing through flesh. I heard the invaders chanting as they brought ruin to our home. An anger I thought I'd buried long ago swelled in my veins, hot and venomous. Tears of rage and grief finally fell, and my heart plunged into the cold bog beneath my feet. My legs forgot their purpose. They gave out. Jake, walking behind me, stumbled into my back. The container tilted violently, the metal groaning under the sudden shift in weight. The creature stopped. Its massive body turned slowly, its dripping black snout twisting to point directly at me. An accusation in the silence. Our whole party froze in disarray. The body of our faith, our sacred trust, Balanced on the edge of ruin, the beast lowered its head, sniffing the air near my face. I could feel its cold breath as it sampled the salt of my sweat and tears. A cloud of hot breath plumed from its nostrils. It was real. It was alive. I was face to face with death itself. I dared to look up, back into its towering crimson eyes. The inferno was gone. The reflection of the burning island was replaced by a new vision. I saw myself shimmering in the icy reflection. But I was older, my face etched with lines of hardship. I saw myself in a grimy alley, a knife buried between my ribs. I saw my own body convulsing as my life bled out onto the pavement. I saw myself die. The others were all watching me now, their faces a mixture of fear, irritation, and confusion. I cowered, shaking, my eyes tracking the beast as it turned away. It resumed its silent journey back toward the island, back toward our burning home. I knew that when its feet touched the shore, the boats of the new men would arrive. I knew then that all my brothers would die, and our home would burn to ash. But not our relic. Finally, I breathed. My mouth opened and I sucked in the cold, life-giving air. My mortal purpose suddenly crystal clear. We would succeed. We would save what mattered most, because I now knew my part in the story. I knew exactly when and how my task would be over.